With growing fears of World War III approaching, let's look at one of Asia's most volatile flashpoints. A place many believe could ignite the next world conflict, Taiwan. In this video, we'll break down the history behind it, so you can form your own view based on facts, not headlines. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Taiwan, an island that today stands at the center of one of the world's most tense geopolitical disputes. But to understand how we got here, we need to go back, centuries back. For most of its early history, Taiwan wasn't part of any Chinese empire. The island was home to Austronesian peoples, seafarers connected to the cultures of the Pacific and Southeast Asia. But in the 1600s, Taiwan's isolation ended. In 1624, the Dutch arrived and established a colony in southern Taiwan. 2 years later, in 1626, the Spanish briefly controlled the northern part of the island, though they were expelled by the Dutch by 1642. For a brief moment, Taiwan was a prize in European colonial rivalries in East Asia. At the same time, mainland China was in chaos. The Ming dynasty, which had ruled China for nearly 300 years, was collapsing under internal rebellion and invasion by the Manchu-led Qing forces. One Ming general, Zheng Chenggong, better known as Koxinga, refused to surrender. In 1662, Koxinga crossed the Taiwan Strait, expelled the Dutch colonists, and took over Taiwan. This marked the first time Taiwan became a serious focus for Chinese politics, as a base for Ming loyalists fighting against the new Qing rulers. In 1683, the Qing dynasty invaded Taiwan, ending the rule of Koxinga's descendants. For the Qing, Taiwan wasn't seen as a core part of China, but they annexed it to prevent future rebellions from brewing across the sea. Taiwan became a frontier region of the Qing Empire, lightly governed and occasionally rebellious. Fast forward to the late 19th century. China's Qing dynasty faced a rising Japan, which had rapidly modernized its military and economy. In 1894, the First Sino-Japanese War broke out, largely over influence in Korea. China lost badly. In the Treaty of Shimonoseki in 1895, China was forced to cede Taiwan to Japan in perpetuity. This was a major national humiliation for China, and Taiwan would now be ruled by Japan for the next 50 years. During Japanese rule, Taiwan was transformed. Japan built railways, industries, and modern infrastructure, while also suppressing resistance and enforcing Japanese culture. By World War II, Taiwan was fully integrated into Japan's imperial system. That control came to an end in 1945 after Japan's defeat in World War II. Taiwan was handed back to China, which was then under the control of the nationalist government led by Chiang Kai-shek. But peace didn't last. At this point, China itself was already deeply divided. The two main political forces were the nationalists, also called the Kuomintang or KMT, led by Chiang Kai-shek. They were the official government of China after World War II, and the Chinese Communist Party, led by Mao Zedong, who had built a powerful base in northern China during the war. Though they had briefly cooperated during the war against Japan, old tensions resurfaced immediately after Japan's defeat. In 1946, civil war broke out between the two sides, a brutal conflict that lasted for 3 years. The Communists gained rapid momentum, fueled by peasant support, Soviet assistance, and nationalist corruption. By 1949, Communist forces had seized almost the entire mainland, forcing the nationalists to retreat. Chiang Kai-shek and the nationalist forces fled to Taiwan, bringing with them around 2 million people. Both governments claimed to be the real China. For decades, the world saw two Chinas: the People's Republic of China in Beijing and the Republic of China in Taipei. Over the next 30 years, Taiwan underwent dramatic change. It moved from martial law to democracy, developing into a high-tech economy and eventually becoming one of Asia's leading democracies. Meanwhile, China's position on Taiwan has remained consistent. Beijing views Taiwan as an inseparable part of China. Today, Taiwan is home to over 23 million people, with its own government, military, and economy. But Beijing still insists Taiwan must be reunited with the mainland, peacefully or by force if necessary. And that's why the Taiwan Strait remains one of the most closely watched flashpoints on Earth. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think should happen with Taiwan? Don't forget to subscribe for more videos on Asia's fascinating and complex geopolitics. And stay tuned for Part 2, where we'll explore how the U.S. military presence in the region could turn this flashpoint into a global conflict.